Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am Darnock with TGN, bringing you another StarCraft 2 1v1 cast. It has been quite a while, but I will get to that just in a little bit. First, let me do the introductions, the players, the map, the tournament, that sort of thing. This is going to be a best of 3 from the recent Home Story Cup. There we go, Home Story Cup number 4, which was a little bit of a while ago, not too long, maybe a few weeks or so, but there are still a lot of really good uncasted replays from that tournament, so I'm going to start working through them just a little bit, see what I can dig up and cast for you wonderful people, because that is what I do. So this is going to be from the second group stage of the tournament. For those of you who remember, the way this tournament worked was there was one big group stage at the beginning. Then the winners, it was, okay, hold on. How in detail do I want to get here? Okay, so it was 4 groups of, no, it wasn't 4 groups. It was 8 groups of 4, right? 8 times 4 is 32. Yeah, it was 8 groups of 4, and the top 2 people from each group advanced. And then after that, there was a second group stage where it was 4 groups of 4. The top 2 people from that group stage advance, and then it's a whole playoff bracket. You know, you guys know the drill. You've seen these things before. So this is from the second group stage. So these guys have already been through their first group. I think they both finished in first place. I actually don't quite remember, but I think they both got out first in their group. So they're definitely top contenders to take this group that they're in right now. It is going to be a best of 3, and now that I have spent so much time on that, let's go introduce our players. At the top of Shattered Temple, we do have MarineKing Prime. That is the red Terran player, of course, as I am sure almost all of you know. MarineKing does play Terran. It's even his name. Come on now, guys. His opponent is going to be way across the map in cross positions, which he will be pretty happy about. That's going to be the pink Zerg player. Yes, you guessed it correctly. That is Millennium Stephano. For those of you who do not know, Stephano loves being the pink Zerg. Nobody is quite sure why, but he does play pink. Occasionally, if he's feeling jovial when he goes into the beginning of a game, instead of saying good luck, have fun, or in addition to it, he will say go go pink Power Rangers. And I'm actually not kidding. He does do that from time to time. I don't know what his story with that is or why he does that, but there it is. I'm not kidding you. That is just how he rolls, and I am so looking forward to casting this series. It's going to be a best of 3, so we have at least 2 games, maybe 3 if we are incredibly lucky, and I'm just super stoked because these are 2 of my very favorite players. Stephano, of course, one of the strongest foreigners in the scene right now, actually the most successful foreigner in terms of prize money. He has won $80,000 off this game of StarCraft 2 thus far. The foreigner in second place is Huck, and he's only won $60,000, so Stephano is ahead by a pretty good margin right there. His opponent, though, MarineKing Prime, is definitely another crowd favorite. Everybody loves MarineKing Prime. He's just so cute and cuddly. Reddit sponsors him. There's all sorts of goodness going on with MarineKing, and he actually has been very successful as well. He hasn't... Okay, that was going to be a bad way to put it. He's actually won quite a few tournaments. He's gone to the finals of GSL Codes at least 3 times. 3 times sounds reasonable, and I think they were all to MVP too. Maybe only 2 times. So he's been to the finals of GSL Codes a lot more frequently than almost any other player can say. But he has not quite been able to snag that victory triumph quite yet. Has not been able to get that trophy on his wall. But he is still very, very strong, and I'm just so excited. So if you aren't familiar with MarineKing, he does tend to go pretty heavy with the bio. Back in the day, he would actually just do pure Marine builds. Now, this was a long time ago, during the infancy of StarCraft 2, when people weren't quite as good at the game. So since people have actually gotten good, he has had to put that strategy away, only brings it up in the rarest of times. You see he's already producing Hellions, just because he does realize, you know, you can't just do pure Marines anymore. You'll get stomped. Doesn't matter what the matchup is. You really got to keep up with the metagame. So he is going for that Reactor Hellion Expand, which of course is standard. I can't remember the last time I casted a TVZ and the Terran didn't go Reactor Hellion Expand. It's just such a good build. You get your expansion up very, very quickly, and of course you do get a lot of map control with those Hellions. You can even do some harassment damage sometime. Now, it looks like MarineKing isn't going to be able to deal too much damage here, as he only does have the 2 Hellions out right now, and there are actually 5 Roaches and 8 Lings on the way to help scurry these Hellions back over to their base. And that's actually something that's pretty interesting about Stephano. I've been talking about MarineKing Prime. Let me give you some details about Stephano. He also both had and has a pretty interesting playstyle, and it's not necessarily a single playstyle, but he makes interesting choices all the time. There was a time where he loved going for that really popular pure Ling with some Infestors mixed in builds that we saw especially popular against Protoss a while ago. That was, of course, before the Infestor changes, but it was still very, very strong, and we do still see him pulled out from time to time. He also does tend to like going very heavy roaches in ZVT, and he does have that roach warren out, so he may decide to go for that today. He is pretty heavy on the lings, so maybe not quite yet, and he's actually getting very, very aggressive, almost all in here as he's just building pure lings. He has a bunch of lings over here. Roaches taking up the rear. The roaches aren't going to get there until almost all the lings are roasted away, actually. So that was actually a very bad timing from Stephano here, not hitting with his full force immediately. Now it looks as if he is still going to be able to deal some damage. Really, the only serious threat in this Terran composition are the Marauders, but oh, perfect timing for MarineKing. As soon as his last Marauder is going to go down, it actually doesn't even die, but as soon as it gets to low health, another Marauder popped out of that barracks. So Stephano is actually not feeling very good right now. He got pretty all in. He built a whole lot of lings, a good number of roaches, and they got completely destroyed. Now, MarineKing really has to be careful here. He does not want to lose these Hellions. He will not be able to afford losing all of those things. Otherwise, the lings are, of course, just going to go and surround all the Marauders and kill them easy peasy. But MarineKing is microing pretty well over here and just going back and forth with those scraping runs. And he's actually about to finish roasting all of those lings. And oh man, that actually really hurts for Stephano. He spent so much, not necessarily money on his attack, but so much larva went into that. If we take a look at the economy tab, we see they're actually equal. In fact, Stephano is down one worker, 34 drones to 35 SCVs, and that obviously is not a great position in ZVT, especially when Stephano, I believe he went for a hatch first. I was busy talking about the tournament or something at that time, but I'm pretty confident that he went a hatch first, just because that's what you do in ZVT. And to go hatch first against a reactor Hellion expand and then be behind in drones, that is not a good thing whatsoever. So MarineKing going to feel very, very comfortable right now, and you see he's going to use that comfort to go and put on some counter pressure to Stephano. He just has a whole bunch of units streaming out across the map, and Stephano looking actually he's not looking very good at all. He only has 2 spine crawlers as defense right now. He is trying to build some roaches. Is he about to get some larva spawns? Yeah, he is about to have 2 injects about to finish. I was wondering where all of his larva was, but that might not be in time. I mean, there are only a few roaches here. The lings are all already dead, and with 4 marauders, those roaches and the spine crawlers are going to get focused down very, very quickly. Spine crawler number 1 does go down. That queen might get taken down too. It does get one last inject off, but it does fall. There are 5 roaches and 8 lings on the way, which might just barely be enough, including the drones, to be able to hold off this aggression from MarineKing. But I don't know, a big blast does go off onto those drones. It does kill about 3 or 4, and now we see that MarineKing is trying to focus down this hatchery. It is at about half health, a little bit less than that, and here comes Stephano trying to reclaim his natural, bring those drones back over. That might be a little bit premature, but he does have the roaches to be able to back that up, and he is going to be able to clean up MarineKing's attack here. But that attack did enough damage. It did the damage it needed to do to pay for itself in this situation. If we look at the Harvester tab, once again, you see Stephano has not built any Harvesters since the last time I checked. He has 1 additional drone than he did when we were checking earlier, and now MarineKing is up to almost 50 SCVs. He has 2 orbital commands, just dropping those mules every single time they are at the 50 energy mark. And MarineKing is just getting farther and farther ahead at this point. Now, I like what Stephano's doing. He is building an infestation pit. Let me get a shot of that for you. That's an evolution chamber. That's the infestation pit over there. But he is going to get that infestor tech here pretty quickly, which I do like. Infestors are one of those units where if you are behind, if you build an infestation pit, maybe, just maybe, you can make something happen, as of course those fungals can be very, very strong. And at the very least, they'll buy him more time until the next push for MarineKing Prime does come. But look, we do see that MarineKing is going to go for a 4 Hellion drop over here. At the same time, he's bringing the rest of his bioforces to go pressure the front door of that main base, and Stephano should have seen this. Yeah, he did spot that with the Overlord that the medevac did graze by, and he is going to push that way without taking any damage. And MarineKing is actually going to pull those units back. I'm actually not really sure he needs to do that. He does have a pretty outstanding army supply lead right now, 56 to 22, and yeah, he is actually just rerouting his units for the time being, going to get an Overlord for free. Okay, there it does go down. I thought MarineKing was going to let that live, and keep in mind, even if MarineKing doesn't kill Stephano with this push, which I don't really see happening. Oh, yeah, and there it is. Stephano does actually GG. But as I was going to say, even if MarineKing somehow didn't kill Stephano right there, he was taking a 3rd base of his own, which would only get him farther ahead. However, of course, Stephano was forced to GG out of that first game, so MarineKing going to take an early 1-0 lead on his opponent. Will Stephano be able to bring it back in game number 2, or will MarineKing close things out 2-0?